We'll talk about the development of drama, and as we had already seen during in the previous video, that drama has various different forms. In this video I'm going to talk about miracle, morality, and interlude plays. So before moving on to what are these, let me just go back a bit into the Greek era. As we have already seen, Renaissance is revival, rebirth on the basis of Greek philosophy and the Greek literature. So all the drama over here, we'll see English writers, they founded their principles and everything by making the theoretical foundation to be the basis of their works. So let's go back to Aristotle, who in his Poetics laid out certain principles of drama, that when you will read classical drama in your coming semesters, you will see in detail that how Aristotle's ideas are practically applied upon Sophocles' Oedipus Rex. But here, let me just quickly introduce you to the definition of tragedy. According to Aristotle, is an imitation of an action that is serious, complete, and of a certain magnitude, through pity and fear, affecting the proper purgation, catharsis of these emotions. So, what is it? Basically, it is an imitation of an action. Drama itself is an action in the recorded form. Imitation that is serious. According to Greeks, dramas used to be of very grave nature, very serious nature. They were complete in its you could say they had certain beginning, prologue, climax, epilogue, and there was a complete magnitude here means it had certain high ideals and aims. Its purpose was to arouse feelings of pity and fear. That pity, when we see any tragedy or any serious work of literature, we fear and we have pity for the character who is suffering. So we pity the character, at the same time we fear that the same might not happen to us as well. So at the in order to balance those feelings, the writers of that particular work uh, goes to the climax, and then there is a process of anticlimax as well. So in the anticlimax, the writer intends to do what? Intends to purify the unwanted feelings of pity and fear. So Aristotle, this definition is aptly applied upon Oedipus Rex, that is considered to be one of the greatest tragedies of Greek era and the Greek literature. Let's quickly go to Elizabethan era, where we see, and William J. Long's book, here he talks about the origin of the drama. First the deed, then the story, and then the play. As I already told you, it is an imitation of an action. So deed, story, and the play. There seems to be natural development of the drama in the simplest form. So the act to act apart seems as natural to humanity as to tell a story, and originally the drama is but an old story retold to an eye, a story put into action by the living performers, who for the moment make believe or imagine themselves to be the old heroes. So if we go back, you see the great deeds of people are treasured in its literature, and literature later generations represent that in their works. So we see the deeds of their gods, goddesses, heroes of the Greek. They were represented in the yearly festivals, and people used to gather over there and they used to enjoy those actions over there. So, to illustrate the matter simply, there was a great life lived by him who was called the Christ. Inevitably, the life found its way into literature. So, Christ is a legend, Christ is a prophet, and Christianity is based on the belief system that the Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, introduced. So, the actions of this great human being and the prophet at the same time, they were found into they found their way into literature, and we have the gospels around his life, and literature sprang up the great religion. So its worship was at first simple: the common prayer, the evening meal together, remembered words of the master, and closing hymn. So gradually a ritual was established which grew more elaborate and impressive as the centuries went by. Scenes from the master's life began to be represented in the churches, especially at Christmas time, when the story of the Christ's birth was made more effective to the eyes of the people who could not read by a bathing uh, manager surrounded by magi and shepherds. So you could see that gradually the stories of the greatness of the prophet Christ, they were introduced into literature as well. So here it is basically very simple sort of the development of the drama we have seen. So let me just go back to the difference between miracle and the morality play that I intend to focus upon in this particular video. So in the Middle Ages, you see that the Greek period developed the drama, but the Middle Ages followed the tradition of the drama, and they used drama into two different distinct forms, that are miracle and the morality play. In the Middle English period, miracle plays became very popular from the growth and the development of the Bible story, scene by scene, carried to its logical conclusion. This drama developed to an enormous cycle of sacred history, beginning with the creation of man, his fall and banishment from the Garden of Eden, and extending through more the more important matters of Old Testament and the life of the Christ in the New, to the summoning of the quick and deed on the day of the final judgment. So in a way, this miracle play seems to represent the religious ideology, religious deeds, sacred actions of Christianity, and the life around Jesus Christ and the other holy matters. So, another form of the drama which flourished during the Middle Ages was morality plays. In these plays, the uniform theme, the struggle between the power of the good and the evil for the mastery of the soul of man, the personages were abstract virtues and vices, each acting and speaking in accordance with his name, and plot was built upon their contrast and influences us on human nature with the extent to each living and uphold religion. So in a word, allegory is distinguishing mark of the moral plays. So you see, the second form of drama has more of an allegoric nature, and where you we talk about various virtues, vices in these moral plays. The protagonist is always an abstraction. He is mankind, human race, the pride of life, and there is an attempt to compass the whole scopes of the man experiences and temptation of life, and there has been a corresponding effort in the miracle plays to embrace a complete range of sacred history. So we'll elaborate these concepts from a different you could say uh, text that I will share with you and CRs too, and that they will share it via email. So let's talk about a bit in more simple word. The terms miracle and morality are interchanged, and there lays a confusion when trying to know about them separately. However, it would be convenient to understand them together, as both the plays are based on the stories present in Bible and on the base of the miraculous happenings in the lives of the saints that led to their martyrdom. So miracle or the mystery plays, they are the plays that have religious backgrounding in nature. The morality play, on the other hand, are the plays of the medieval period that revolved around the dramatization of allegories, mainly based on the Christian life and the journey to seek salvation. Any drama of this kind would have a clash between virtues and vice. All of these characteristics were personified, and their audience could actually see the virtues or vice trying to get better of each other. So, in a way, it was more of a revolutionary improvement in the medieval drama. The audience were like the fresh ideas presented through these dramas. So, the most prevalent character seen in the personification of the vice or the devil, which made the audience, and we'll see this devil later on, to be represented in other works such as Milton's Paradise Lost incorporates or proves devil to be having more power. Similarly, devil has subsequently been represented in more of the plays, but the base of that introduction lies here during the Middle Ages or late Middle Ages or the earlier Elizabethan time, which made the audience fall into a state of wonder. The use of these personifications continued even in the Elizabethan drama, as one can see in the Christopher's Marlowe's Dr. Faustus. So we'll talk about Dr. Faustus as well. But first, let me just tell you what personification is. Personification is giving human characteristics to non-living things, such as when we say books talk, moon walks, or walls here. So all these things such as books, walls, they are non-living things. But when we give them human characteristics of talking, walking, and listening, they become personified and they get the human characteristics. So similarly, these human characteristics were part of that particular drama in that age. So let me elaborate this type of drama. The first one, to be exact, from the example that William gives, the earlier miracle plays of England were divided into two classes. The first given as at Christmas, including all plays connected with the birth of the Christ. The second at Easter included the plays relating to his death and triumph. By the beginning of the 14th century, all these plays were in various localities united in single cycles, beginning with the creation and ending with the final judgment. The complete cycle was presented every spring, beginning on Corpus Christi Day, and the presentation of so many plays meant a continuous outdoor festival of a week or more. This day was looked forward to as the happiest day of the whole year. So they were specified, and in those days, these dramas were produced and they were performed by various actors and actresses over there. Let me just go to the other type of the drama, which is the moral play of the drama, a moral period of the drama to be exact. The second or moral play of the drama is known and increasing prevalence of the morality plays. In these, characters were allegorical personages. Allegory, as you can see, that allegory is a kind of literary technique whereby, so allegory is a kind of a story or poem or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or the political one. So, such as Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan, that you will see in the development of the novel when you will read the history of English novels, to be exact. So, over there, John Bunyan, as Pilgrim's Progress, in that Pilgrim's Progress, the character of Christian is a kind of symbolic character who goes on a quest or on a journey uh, to attain, you could say, purification, or on a pilgrimage. So similarly, these allegorical plays or stories of the morality plays were produced in that particular time. So they also incorporated life, death, repentance, goodness, love, greed, and other virtues. So morality may be regarded, therefore, as the dramatic counterpart of the once particular allegorical poetry, exemplified in the by the Romance of the Rose, Roman de la Rose, if you remember from the Middle Ages. So, nevertheless, morality marks a distinct advance over the miracle in that it gave free scope to the imagination for new plots and incidents, whereas miracle play, you see, they were limited because the margin of imagination in those pedagogical or didactic stories was very limited, as human beings cannot add much to the historical or the religious facts. But when these historical facts or religious personalities were converted into fiction, then the margin of improvement or free thinking, free scope developed in Spain and Portugal. These plays under the name of Otto were wonderfully developed by the genius of Calderon and Guy Vincent. But in England, the morality play was really the kind of performance like allegorical poetry which preceded it. So let me just go to the example of the devil in these plays, as the devil was introduced, and another lively personages called vices was the predecessor of the modern clown Chester. You will see this clown has very much important in Shakespearean drama. So so all the wise has is a base or the foundation of the clown of the Shakespearean dramas, and his business was to torment the virtues by mischievous pranks. Pranks nowadays, as you are all familiar with the technological, so prank used to be the very much essence of those morality plays where these mischievous characters, voices, used to play around with the other human beings, and especially they used to make the devil's life a burden by beating him with a bladder or the wooden sword and every opportunity. The morality generally ended in the triumph of the virtue, the devil leaping into hell mouth with wise on his back. So you will see it is a kind of mannequin allegory or binary position where things are divided into two particular categories, such as good versus bad, day versus night. So these binary oppositions, they all the time are in complete disagreement against each other. So the example of this morality play is Everyman, which has recently been revived in England and America. The subject of the play is the summoning of every man by death, and the moral is that nothing can take away the terror of inevitable summons but an honest life and comfort of religion. So, in its dramatic unity, it suggests the pure Greek drama. There is no change of time or scene, and the stage is never empty from the beginning till the end of the performance. So these were the two different types of miracle and the morality play. But here I would also like to you to go through another type of the drama, because there are sometimes things cannot be properly divided into black and white. So as William J. Long says, that it is impossible to draw any accurate line of distinction between the moralities and interludes. So in general, we think of the latter as dramatic scenes, such as this kind of a kind of drama was the drama that took things from here and took things from there too, and added them and mixed them into, and created a new type of drama, such as interludes, as the name suggests, that came between the events to provide witty entertainment to the audience. Usually, they are very short and use the topic of the politics or religious issues, but this was done in a rather funny manner. Therefore, they are considered as secular farces. Secular farces are the name that is given to these funny or mocking drama. Buffoonery or the horseplay is the kind of the crude characterization in these farces where the performance was done by the professional actors, either by the acts of the long plays or during the feast where entertainment was required. Thomas Hayward is the most prominent of the playwrights who contributed a great deal to the popularity of these interludes. His work, Four Ps, is also known to be one of the significant work that can be included in the category of interludes, as William J. Long also has talked about this particular writer as well. So where you could see that he talks about in these lines that Hayward's interludes were written between 1520 and 1540. His most famous is Four Ps, a contest of wit between a pardoner, a palmer, a peddler, and a apothecary. So we you can just relate these to the characters of Chaucer that we have already talked about, and it would be a kind of short, you could say, task for you to find out that which of these four characters relate to Chaucer's character that we have talked in detail in the previous week. Another example is of interlude is the play of the weather. In this, Jupiter and the god assemble to listen to complaints about the weather and to reinforce abuses. Naturally, everybody wants his kind of weather. The climax is reached by a boy who announces that a boy's pleasure consists of two things: catching birds and throwing snowballs and pegs, for the weather to be such that he can always do both. Jupiter decides that he will do just as he pleases about the weather, and everybody goes home satisfied. So you can see that this is the type of play where individuals used to enjoy, they used to have fun, and they used to please. And if you remember our initial starting lecture that we started with distinction between art for art's sake and art for life's sake. So which category particularly would you be including these various plays into? And I hope so that you will be able to distinguish, and it is another, you could say, short task for you, apart from relating the earlier four characters with Chaucer's character. This task you could also relate to this particular, you could say that those types of various arts for art's sake and arts for life's sake. Students, there is another issue that I have received some assignments from your class, and the issue is this, that the assignment that you are writing is some of you might not have clear idea that you cannot copy paste stuff from internet. It is not allowed. That is called as you could say plagiarism. Plagiarism is what stealing the ideas. You are not allowed to just copy paste, and we don't need this kind of stuff from you. I have assigned you a task and I have given you a writer, and I asked you to investigate a writer, his or her age, what are the influences upon the writer, what kinds of writing does that writer uh, have, and what are the ideologies does he or she incorporate, what are the various themes that are depicted over there. So you have to incorporate all those, but be very much careful about this plagiarism sort of thing, because we will and we may check your work, and if it is found as plagiarized, that is totally unacceptable. As you know, plagiarism is an unethical practice of using words or ideas. It is in a way a kind of stealing thing. It is in a way taking away, or robbery, or an intellectual robbery to be exact. So you as a researcher need to do, you need to acknowledge, but that acknowledgement ratio or citation of the other people, that is only allowed at a very limited ratio. Only 19% is the maximum limit allowed by HEC for any sort of assignment. For your kind information, what you need to do, just take ideas, take some facts and understand them and write them in your own language. And whenever there is any important fact, you just need to mention that fact into your own work and into your own writing. So you could read about something about plagiarism, that what plagiarism is, how to avoid it, how to just counter it, and how to just you could say avoid it. And there are various you could say forms of plagiarism, and what should do. You need to just give it a detailed reading of this type, and when you mention something, use a MLA style, and in that MLA style you could mention, let me give you another example. So here is a guide that you could ask your CR, or you could just easily see the link address that is pasted over here, or you could download it from MLA format. How to cite various sources of you could say citation, and here you could just, let me give you one example to be exact. So when you're referring someone, you need to do what, such as Jane Hopkins calls the Western, the inverted comma stars, inverted comma are used when exact words of another writer are quoted only through American entertainment form, comma close, page number 67. So when you also quote someone from some primary or secondary reference, what you need to do, just use the exact reference, and otherwise there shouldn't be any three exact words that could match the source from where you have taken. You just need to take some you could say facts, and those facts could be written in your own words. I hope I've made my point clear over here, so you people would avoid you could say copy pasting stuff in your future assignment, because that assignment would carry you could say almost 10% of your your course's weightage. So pay attention very briefly and just read about you could say various things related to how to cite, and what is plagiarism, and how to avoid plagiarism, and how to you could say write in a good language. I hope I have made my points clear over here. And in the you could say next slot, we'll talk about Christopher Marlowe and his play, to be exact, Dr. Foster. So what you could do, just go through that particular play, and you could say at least go through that, and highlight some of the important and themes that we would talk about, so that when you um, watch my next lecture, so you will be able to understand that in detail. For now, I would be signing off, and I hope you all remain safe and in good health. Take care, goodbye, and Allah Hafiz.